Chris, who has a camera again.
Yay!
What is our fifth main topic today?
This is from Jim Gratton. Well, damn. Don't know if you saw it this morning, but it looks like all the details are now out about what happened at the Oscars. So apparently, the Academy did tell Smith to leave, and he refused. So the Academy was looking to physically remove him and have him arrested. But Chris Rock saved him because he didn't want a bad situation to become worse. My respect for Rock has gone up a lot. What do you think of this timeline? And should Smith now be banned from the Oscars forever?
All right, let's say this first. Hopefully, until the Oscars announce what their disciplinary action is going to be, I hope this is the last time we need to talk about the Will Smith slapping is that thing. But, I mean, the information that is now coming out today is significant because I think now we have the actual complete picture about what happened at the Oscars. So for those of you who know what's going on, the producer of the Oscars, the guy who was in charge of the producer of the Oscars this year, Will Packer, he did an interview this morning. I think it was on Good Morning America. And he talked about what actually went down and what happened. And it kind of completes the picture. We've been getting little details here and there, like some saying the producer didn't want him to leave, but the Academy asked him to leave. Maybe yes, maybe no, whatever. It seems now we've got a picture. So let's go over here. This comes to us from IndieWire, who write the following. Now, this is Will Packer speaking when he says, I was advocating that Rock wanted what Rock wanted. When he says Rock, he means Chris Rock. I was advocating what Rock wanted in that time, which was not to physically remove Smith at that time. As it has now been explained to me, that was the only option at that point. Because as we know, the Academy has already stated that they asked Will Smith to leave. Will Smith refused. And now he's saying that the only other option that was available to them now was to have him physically removed at that point. Packer went to Academy leadership on site to say that Chris Rock doesn't want Smith to be removed or to make a bad situation worse, because he's absolutely right. That would have made a bad situation worse. Los Angeles City Police Department was poised to arrest Smith after the incident occurred. They were saying, you know, this is battery, was a word they used in that moment. They said, we will go get him. We are prepared. We're prepared to get him right now. You can press charges and we can arrest him. Chris was being very dismissive of those options. He was like, no, I'm fine. And even to the point where I said, Rock, let them finish. The police officers finished laying out what his options were. They said, would you like us to take any action? And he said no. He said no. So that's coming to us from IndieWire based on the interview that Will Packer did this morning, the producer of the Academy Awards this year, as to what happened. So it appears that here's our timeline. Rock makes the joke. Will Smith goes on stage, physically assaults him. He goes back and sits down. Members of the Academy told Will Smith they would like him to leave. Will Smith refused. He said he wasn't going to leave. The only option then to the Academy was to have him physically removed, and the police were ready to go in and physically take him and drag him out of the Academy Awards. Chris Rock said, no, there's no need to do that, and I don't want to make a bad situation worse, which he was 100% right. Like this, it was already a bad look on the whole Academy Awards had a bad look because of what Miss Smith did. The image of police having to walk into the auditorium, grab one of the biggest stars in the world and drag them out.
No, it would have been the worst thing ever.
Horrible for everybody involved. So kudos to Chris Rock saying, I'm fine. Just, I don't want them to do that. It's going to make a bad situation worse, whatever. So there was nothing they did. Later, the Academy Awards name him as Best Actor. They go get him, give him his Academy Award. He went, sat down, went on with the thing. After that, the Academy did put out a release. We read their release yesterday that they are now looking at actions of suspension and possibly expulsion, which would bar him from ever being an Academy member, number one, but also remove any eligibility for him to receive Academy Awards or nominations in the future, which is a pretty big deal, considering now he's in that legacy building mode of his, now that he has his first Academy Award. Although it does seem like taking away his Academy Award is off the table, and I endorse that. I don't think they should be taking away his Academy Award. Had nothing to do with the incident. He won it. He should keep it. That's my take at any rate. And I respect anybody else who's a different take. That's fine. All right. I got to say, for me personally, this changes, and I mentioned this yesterday. I said on yesterday's show that if we find out that, yes, they did indeed ask him to leave, and he just straight up refused to go, I said if that's what we find out, it's going to change my assessment of the situation a little bit. Because my personal feelings on this matter have been that let's not make the punishment way worse than the crime. Give him a suspension, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. He may only make 1 or 2 movies in the next 2 to 3 years anyway. So give him a suspension, because you got to do something. What he did was unacceptable. So give him a suspension, 2 years, 3 years. He's ineligible for 2 or 3 years. Let him keep his Oscars. Let him make good. And then in 3 years, have him back at the Oscars and we all get to celebrate it. I don't know that I think that way anymore. Because to me, Will Smith escalated the situation. He put the Oscars in a terrible position where it's like you went up and staged and assaulted somebody, and now we're asking you to leave. Let me be very clear about this. Will Smith had no right to be there. He had the privilege of being there. Nobody in that audience had the right to be at the Academy Awards in that moment. Nobody did. Unless you were, one of the board of governors of the Academy. Nobody had the right to be there. It was a privilege to be there. And when the Academy comes up and says, we would like you to leave, he had no right to say no. And he put them in a position of, you're going to have police come out here and drag me out and cause a big scene if you want that to happen. He was basically holding them hostage because he knew there was nothing they could do. And Rob, I gave the example yesterday that if you were at a party at my house and I asked you to leave, like if you'd done something stupid at my party, I may throw you out and not invite you back for the next couple of parties, but eventually I'm going to invite you back. But if I ask you to leave my house and you don't go, you're dead to me. And I feel like the Academy right now, I don't know how I would vote if I was an Academy member, but I don't think it would be out of bounds now for the Academy to say, you're out. Expulsion. Like, the slap was one thing. That could have been a suspension. But we asked you to leave, and you said no because you knew we would have to create a major, major scene to physically remove you. You held our show hostage. You're out. Now, look, I am going to personally continue to watch Will Smith's movies. I'm going to personally continue to enjoy Will Smith's movies. I do not think any individual should be judged in their entirety by one incident. But if you're the Academy, I think you got to take action. And I don't think I'm not saying they should expel him, but I don't think it would be unreasonable at this point to expel him now that we're hearing from the producer of the show after we find out what happened. Again, I'm not saying throw him out forever. I'm just saying if that is what the Oscars are contemplating at this point, not because of the slap, but because of the refusal to leave after being asked, I don't think it's unreasonable for them to be considering expelling him permanently. I'll still watch his movies. I like Will Smith. I don't care. But anyway, Rob, this has been a horrible black eye on all of the movie industry, on obviously Will Smith, on the Academy. It's been a black eye for everybody. Now that we hear more details from Will Packer, the producer of the show, how does this change, or does it change your assessment of the situation at all?
Well, it does. I mean, I've been getting a lot of questions and commentary on social media about people that want to turn this, whether it's an issue of a man protecting his wife, whether it's an issue of the black community, whether it's an issue of a privileged performer getting away with something. There's all these different levels that people are coming at me and they want to know my opinion. But when it comes right down to it, take away the trappings of what was going on. You had one man strike another man in a situation that was meant to be enjoyed by a whole group of people celebrating their peers and all of these things. What happened was so far removed from what should have happened, the spirit of this entire event. And it was something that could have been avoided. Any footstep that he took forward in this moment, he could have stopped himself and did not. This is not normal behavior. This is not acceptable behavior. This violates the code of conduct. It violates our laws. It violates the spirit of what the Academy Awards is. Every single person who busted their asses to put this Academy Award show on under very difficult circumstances, coming out of the pandemic, I mean, it was so unfortunate, but it cannot be normalized. It cannot. We cannot afford in our civil society to normalize this behavior. And at the end of the day, I love Will Smith. I enjoy Will Smith's performances. I love Independence Day. I've already come out and talked about I own Hitch on Blu-ray. I don't apologize. I think Hitch is a great romantic comedy. I love Will Smith. I've always loved. I love, you know, when he worked with Tony Scott. You know, I Enemy of the State. I love that shit. I love Will Smith. But you know what? If any human being did what he did, they would suffer consequences. Any human being. And he must suffer the consequences. Our civil society demands that this behavior is not normalized, no matter who you are. And whether I love Will Smith or not, this needs to have consequences, and people need to remember you cannot do this and get away with it, period.
I just wanted to read this one thing, though. I love Chris Rock's response, because the producer, Will Packer, goes on to say that he went back to talk to Chris Rock. He says, I love what Rock says here. After the moment happened, Packer approached Chris Rock backstage. I said, "Did he really hit you?" And he looked at me and he goes, "Yeah, I just took a punch from Muhammad Ali." Of course, Will Smith was nominated for an Academy Award for his incredible performance as Muhammad Ali.
And he was yoked and jacked to play that
he
role
looked great
too.
in that. Well, he's Will Smith. He always looks great. But anyway, Chris, we're starting to get now a clearer picture of what happened. We're starting to get a definitive timeline of things. Does this actually change anything? Does it change the perception of what goes on here? And now, what do you think the Academy is going to do about this?
I mean, I still have my same stance. There do have to be consequences to your actions, no matter what happened. Just because, you know, we don't react to things violently. And sure, when you are being reactive, you're not going to be the best version of yourself. But I do think they have to set a precedent, because nothing like this has happened at the Academy Awards before. And like you were saying, Rob, if this happened, if we took away all the pageantry of it, we wouldn't have as much discussion around what should or should not happen. The example I brought up yesterday was I was in a show with somebody, or in the audience. They were very, very drunk and unruly. Someone came up to me and said, "You need to get them out of here." And I did. Because otherwise what would have happened is security would have been called and their ass would have been dragged out. Because that's what happens. If you start yelling and putting hands on people, you're going to get taken care of, you know? So I do think the Academy is fully within its right to take, you know, some drastic measures here and remove him from the Academy for a few years. I don't want him to be a bad boy for life, but you can't.
Are we all still in agreement? Because maybe we're not, but are we all still in agreement that, let's work from the worst case scenario down? Are we all still in agreement, because we were before, that they should not take the Oscar away?
Absolutely.
Are we still agree about that?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
So he earned that Oscar fair and square. And remember, this incident people have to understand, even though we got awarded the Oscar at that was already a done deal.
It was done. Had nothing to do with the incident.
Based on his performance. He absolutely deserved that.
All right. So we're all in agreement with that. Okay. Would we all be okay if the Oscars, if the Academy said he's expelled from the Academy at this point? Because I'll tell you what, yesterday I wouldn't have been.
Like a permanent expulsion?
Like a permanent expulsion from the Academy as a result of this. I today say, I'm not sure I would vote that way myself. I would be okay with it. I would understand it today if they expelled him. What about you? Do you think that's still going too far?
I would understand it, but I would want a suspension. I mean, Ray and I were talking before the show about how we're still just trying to wrap our heads around what even happened.
Yeah.
And how to feel about it.
This to me hits home because Will, for a little moment in my life, I idolized him like crazy. Like I was telling Chris, like, there was a time where me and my dad were looking for suits for this event, and I was looking at the inside of the sports coat to see the patterns in there because I wanted to wear it inside out, like after the event, you know, it's still shocking to me. Like this thing, I don't know what's inside any of their heads, so I'm not going to judge anybody on anything. I just care about what happens with the Oscars one thing that ran through my head is maybe no more plus ones. Just anyone who's up for anyone who's up for award, just be there, accept, and then go. I'm not trying to say it had anything to do with that, but I'm just saying the award should be about the awards and the people being nominated for it, and that's it. You know what I mean? There should be no one there that I don't know. I just want the show to actually recover from this because it was already getting people weren't watching it already, and next year if the ratings are up, it's for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And the Oscars should never be about controversy. It should be about who's up for the awards.
Well, the only controversy should be is should that person have won over that person? That should be the only controversy. So does anybody believe they won't do anything? Does anybody believe that there won't be? Because especially after now knowing what we know, I don't think there's any chance they don't do anything.
No.
But they're going to do something.
I do think expulsion is just too... It goes back to the same Oscar argument, right? I don't think they can expel him from the Academy because look at the other people who are still in the Academy. Who are
but this he did to the Academy.
That's true.
That's the one difference here. He did this to them.
But
so I mean I don't know, but I honestly think this is where it's going to fall. This is where I really think it's going to fall. I think they're going to come out and I think they're going to say 5 years. I think it's going to be a 5-year ban. I can see them making it a permanent expulsion, and I have no issue if they do because of the way he just held them hostage. But I think it's going to be a little bit more lenient than that. I think it's going to come in at 5 years. I think he's going to get a 5-year suspension. What do you think, Rob?
Well, one, I don't believe he should be expelled. This was not premeditated. He obviously there's a lot of stuff going on that we've all heard about in his own personal life with his marriage and things like that. I think if he could have done this day over again, he would have.
I agree.
You know,
I don't think what he did on that day is an accurate reflection of who he is as a person overall.
No,
I think he absolutely would do it differently.
I don't either. But on the other hand, and what are great stories about? What are movies about? How many redemption stories have we fallen in love with in the movies over the years? I mean, the Academy. But
what do you think they will do?
I think you're probably right. I mean, 1 or 2 years isn't enough. 5 years, maybe even 10. I mean, I don't know.
You're thinking 5 to 10?
I think 5 to 10. I think and also, I would require him to come out and maybe give some kind of a statement, do some kind of Academy outreach, maybe teach a few acting courses at the Academy Museum. Something.
We should point out and remind
something
people,
to celebrate the art that he has benefited him throughout his life.
He did put out, I thought, a very well written apology that he put out on social media that he directed at Chris Rock. I thought it was a very, very good apology myself personally, but you're right. Maybe the Academy say, "Okay, look, 5-year suspension plus."
Yeah, how about this? How about free of charge? He hosts a Will Smith film festival at the Academy Theater that he's going to have to, Q&A and signed autographs and meet his fans or whatever and come out and talk about the art of filmmaking or his career. Do something positive.
Sorry.
That was the most adorable sneeze
thank you.
I've heard so long. Chris, what do you think it is going to end up at? What do you think the Academy will do?
I think they're going to do 1 to 3 years.
Really? You're going to think they're going to go that low?
I
1 to 3? So I'm thinking about 5. You're thinking 5 to 10. You're thinking 1 to 3. Ray, what do you think it's going to be?
I just want to say, as much as the situation hurts, there should be consequences to that action. If you take out the names from it, there should be something done.
Sure.
I can't call it because I don't know anything about.
All right.
No one does, to be fair.
No one does, to be honest. The question is for you guys. Now that we're getting a better picture of what actually transpired that night, and we know, who was refused, and the police nearly walked in and arrested him and took him away. I don't know. I got to say, my respect level for Chris Rock has gone up a lot. Not only the way he maintained his composure on stage after getting slapped like that and kept the show must go on. But the very fact, because if he wanted to be a reactionary little baby like Will Smith was in that moment, I don't think Will Smith is a little baby. He just acted like it, and we all have sometimes. But he could have been a reactionary guy backstage. Say, yeah, F that guy. Go get him. You'd think Chris Rock in that moment would love to see him being dragged out. But he said, no, it's just good. I'm fine.
He's the epitome of grace under pressure.
Yeah, I'm fine. Let it go. We're just going to make the situation worse. And I really respect a lot. Question is for you. What do you think is going to happen here, guys? And it is 2 separate questions. Let me ask you this. If you leave a comment, leave the answer to both of these questions. Number one, what would you do if you were an Academy board member right now? And secondly, and totally separately, what do you think the Academy is going to do about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump on down to the comment section below and leave us your thoughts. And hopefully, until the Academy announces what they're going to do about it, that'll be the last time we talk about this topic. All right, guys, listen, we're now going to move on and take your live comments and questions that you guys sent in. But before we do, let's hear from one more sponsor of today's show, making these shows possible, our friends over at Coinbase. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, Coinbase. Have you found yourself curious about getting involved in cryptocurrency, but if you're like a couple of friends of mine who have been really interested in it, they felt kind of overwhelmed by it, like not even knowing how to get started? Well, that's where Coinbase comes in, because they make learning to buy and sell crypto simple. Coinbase offers a trusted and easy to use platform to buy, sell, and spend cryptocurrency. They support the most popular digital currencies on the market and make them accessible to everyone. They offer portfolio management and protection, learning resources, and a mobile app so you can trade securely and monitor your crypto all in one place. And that's why millions of people all over the world in 100 different countries trust Coinbase with their digital assets. So whether you're looking to diversify, just getting started, or searching for a better way to access crypto markets, start today with Coinbase. And for a limited time, new users can get $10 in free Bitcoin when you sign up today at coinbase.com/Campea. Sign up at coinbase.com/Campea for $10 in free Bitcoin. This offer is for a limited time only, so be sure to sign up today. That's coinbase.com/Campea. And a special thank you to the folks at Coinbase for helping make today's episode of the John Campea Show possible by being one of our sponsors.